Should be really good. All right. So last last week we looked at some of the stuff, which is by the way, I gave you three servers here, Austin. You could start using those.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zafar.
Yeah. So last time what we saw was uh let's take a look here what we did. Okay, so all right, so what we did was we gave 9,000, which is a machine group terminator. We gave them the extra access here. So terminator was part of wheel as well as he's part of 9,000 machines, right? And then what we did was we created a directory, and then um, so before, okay, so what we did here, assign folder permission, and here he should be logged in as terminator, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna open another window here and go in there as a terminator. And this is what I did here, okay? So let me refresh, restart. So I'm going into that server as a terminator. And then I'm gonna put the password. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in there into assignment. And then if I do touch file one, I'm getting permission denied here. Okay, so before that, let me go back up here. Let me do ID terminator. What? Oh, I have to be in that server first, sorry.
Hey, Mrs. Zafar.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt. What's the password for the Austin servers?
I'm gonna text you on the side.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
Okay.
Um, no, login as ZMPT,
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
ZMPT at, and then once you go there, then follow the the other things. So you could switch
Yeah.
to root and everything and establish.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
Thank you.
Mhm. So now let's look at the folder permission here. ls-ld/assignment. So when we look at it here, so focus on group. So what is group able to do? Group, somebody who is in the group part, what I have highlighted there, he is only read and execute. So read means what is terminator able to do? So before that, let me see, let me highlight this part here. Okay, so terminator, he tried to create a file. So in essence, creating a file is what? If you create a file in the folder, what are you doing? You are writing. If you're creating a simple file, you're also writing a simple file to that folder, okay?
Yeah.
So now if you look closely here, there is no write permissions. So, but let's go into assignment, CD assignment, right? And if you do ls-l, there is nothing there. What I'm going to do is touch file 1 and I'll hit enter. And if I do ls-l file 1, okay, so there is anybody could read these permissions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is vi file 1. I'm going to say this file, uh, this file provides you mission information. Okay, stand by. Okay, now as a terminator, and if you do ls-l, and if you do cat file 1, cat is nothing but reading. You should be able to read the file. Okay, so terminator, he is a part of a group, right? So he's able to read to the file, but he is not able to write that file or create another file in that location here. Like touch file 2. So permission denied. So here the group has only read permission. Okay, so what do you see on the bottom left? Insert, right? Did you do escape?
Yeah.
It still won't go away? Yeah. Then shift colon X. Hey, Hamid bhai, so far is it helping you on your job? What are you learning here?
I can see what my network people do, and now I understand what they are
Oh,
doing, what
okay.
commands they are using, and how they are managing the users at the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, these are like real world scenario. And once this is done, you guys are like hot potatoes, you know, should be able to get a good paying job. We'll work on some marketing and resumes and stuff this time really, really hard. And we'll see where it goes. And you guys heard Trump announced Stargate, right? And guess what? What is going to be? It's going to be data centers.
Hundreds of thousands of Linux jobs.
Yeah, it's going to be data center and it's going to be flooded with Linux.
World's biggest data center for AI.
Yeah. And I forgot to send you that clip what Elon Musk was talking about Linux, you know. Tesla is riding on Linux. Every device has Linux. There may be SAP, but not every device has SAP in it. Oracle is there, not every device has Oracle.
Oh, but
Every device has Linux though.
yeah, I mean, Linux is the base.
Yeah,
Install database on top of it, and you install
Yeah.
application on top of
correct.
it. Linux is the base.
Yeah.
But no
So-
remote job, right?
There are a lot of remote jobs, man. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, just yesterday, my folks were upgrading one of the servers. And I was in the meeting and I'm seeing what they're doing, and that makes sense to me, a lot sense to me, whatever they were.
Were they sharing the screen?
Yeah.
And it's all dark screen, right?
It's all that.
Yeah.
Shutting down the server.
Soon you could tell them you're running a wrong command.
One time, but not yesterday, but one time I told them after this class, I told them that you are hitting the wrong server. And they were like, how do you know? I give them the IP that this IP is for another application. And I asked you to upgrade this application, it's on a different server.
Yeah. Soon, once we get to the scripting and Ansible part, you'll see how much. Right now, you're controlling only one server. You could control like, myself, I've controlled about 500 servers at a one instant. I mean, there is no limit. But then also, if you're controlling too many servers from one server, it will lock your server up because it's using a lot of resources. So, in 30 days, the Ramadan is going to start. But we'll continue the class though, okay? Yeah, because it's only 3 hours Saturday morning, so you should be done with it. So the group has only read permission. So a group user is able to read a file. Okay, group user is not able to create file in the directory group user is not able to create the file in the directory or edit existing file. Now, what we're gonna do is, what I'm gonna do is for the So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some edits here. Change, should I change the ownership to machine? Okay, so if you do ls hyphen ld and a period, so the permission for assignment group is here, is this here, right? It's a root, is this part here. And then ownership is this part here. So what I'm gonna do is, it's a new command, it's gonna call change group, CHGRP. Change group 9,000, and then you could do that too. A period means whatever the folder you are doing with, or you could do this too. Which one is better, using one character or using 8 characters? I mean, you just have to be present in the moment to realize what you're doing. Okay, so if I do change group 9,000 for the assignment and I hit enter, no error. And if I do ls-ld period, now if you draw your attention here, it says machine here. Okay. So group owner is machine. Okay, let me do this part here. Okay, so now I did the change group, and this is what happened here. And then I'm going to change the permissions for the group also. I'm going to do chmod. Okay, so before that, so I want to give full permissions to group, and I want to keep everything else the same. Using the numbers, how would you do that? Using numbers, I would do chmod. I'm not changing this part here, right? So this part is all full permissions. Full permissions mean 7. And for group, I want to give full permissions also. That would be 7. And I want to keep the existing permissions here. So what I want to do is 4 plus 1 is what? 5. 755, and I do assignment. And I hit enter. And if I do ls-ld assignment, and I got the desired permission I wanted. So the command you should be running is, no, are you in a root screen, or in a,
I'm at Linux.
yeah, but are you as a root user? Yeah. So you at this moment you guys should have 2 screens open. One is for Terminator, other one is for root. Okay, and are you in root screen now? On your second screen, or the second login, you should be in as a root. Okay. Okay. So what you should do is this is your own. So switch to Terminator here on this screen. Okay, so here switch to root then. Wherever you are Hamid, switch to root. Sudo su minus. Okay, so okay, so you are not in as oh, okay, no, what you want to do is go to your which server you're working on, your first server.
Yes.
Okay, so from here SSH to first server,
Yes.
ZMPT at your first server IP. Okay, there you go. Now switch to root. Now go into ls-ld. No, not here. Slash assignment. Okay. Now the one I was doing with the period, go into cd slash assignment. Slash assignment tab. It will. Now you could do ls-ld period here. So it should, the output should be the same. There you go, the permissions.
Yeah.
So now go ahead and change mod ch mod. Seven 5 There you go. Yeah. And then change do ls-ld again. And it says root and root, right? Now what you want to do is change group. CHGRP. CH 9,000, and then either you could give, since you're already in assignment, you could give the period or you could do slash assignment. Now do ls-ld period. There you go. If you bring your attention here, you are into a machine. Okay. All right, very good. Anybody have any issue? Everybody's caught up, right? All right, so now let me share my screen. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is let's see if we could try to do this here, touch to file one, and you see the user terminator is able to create a file, okay, and then if I do ls-l, okay, now I want to draw your attention here. So can somebody take a wild guess if a terminator is try to able to edit file one, what will happen to it?
Denied.
Exactly, very true. Why? Because he's only able to read it and then he's not able to write anything to it, okay? And then what else we did was we created the permissions. We created the permissions here as a machine here. But the permissions, the way if the permissions you gave is not retroactive, it's going forward. Any existing file will keep their old permission. So when he created a new file, he is able to read and write. Okay, so the new files that are being generated is you could see who created it and the group. What about the old file? Old files will remain the same here unless you give the retroactive switch to do that here. Okay, so let me explain that in a moment. So what I'm going to do is let me copy this part here. Okay, so for you to be able to have the older files also able for Terminator to be able to read and write, what you have to do is you have to what you have to do is chmod minus uppercase R and hit enter. What it does is all the recursive, R stands for recursive, means anything inside existing files and folders. Okay, now if I do ls-l, now you see the permission part here. The permission part has changed here, but not the group here. If you want to change the group part also, then what you have to do is ch group, then same thing, space minus uppercase R. And then, so this part here, let me change recursively.
Not doing CHGRP on them. Oh. Wow.
Space minus uppercase R. Change recursively permissions. So let me get this and then let me put it here. and as a terminator. Okay, again, you have to be careful with the permissions here. All of a sudden, if you give the permissions to the wrong ID and if you take away the permissions from the wrong ID, it's a small change, right? It has a potential to, make like a production outage and you be on the evening news. So make sure anything you're doing as a root, be careful. Okay, now, so change group here. Okay, now see the existing file, the owner is root, the permission has changed to machine here. Why? Because we change the permission recursively, means everything inside at that moment. All right. 2-minute pause. Any questions? Anybody lagging behind? Anybody want to catch up? Let me know, because this is hands-on stuff you have to be doing at the moment with me for you to be able to understand and practice this later.
Yeah, Mrs. Zafar, I'm having an issue when I tried to the change recursively for the assignment. It's saying that I have no such file or directory, but I can CD into it.
Okay, let's share your screen.
Okay. Mrs. Zafar,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to quit and reopen it because I had to change the permissions on my computer.
Okay.
All right, I'll come right back.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Mrs. Zafar.
All right. So all right. So do I think are you spelling it correctly? ASSIGNMENT.
Mm, yeah, that's how the folder is spelled. I even tried to hit tab, but it didn't work.
Okay, before that, do ls-ld
Hmm.
and do pwd. You are in Terminator, right?
Hmm.
Okay, do ls-ld assignment. Oh, so your yeah, no, assignment directory is in your Terminator directory. Do pwd, do an lsfnl.
PWD.
Yep, do PWD, then do LSF and L.
LS.
So you are in this directory here.
Yeah, I'm in terminated directory.
Yeah, so now remove it from here. Just remove it here.
Remove assignment.
Yeah, remove assignment. Okay, now do mkdir/assignment.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
Now hit enter. There you go.
gotcha. And now run the chmod command.
Yeah, chmod and
Dash R 775.
/assignment. There you go.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect.
Now on up there, just do CD there.
Mm-hmm.
CD and hit enter.
It timed out.
So what you could do is for timing out, like maybe go and change like the session timeout.
Okay. Edit
Yeah,
session.
maybe see edit session and color text go into session.
Mm,
Do you okay there it says 5 seconds, right? Change it
yeah.
to larger number. Yeah, 1000.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be good now.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, so now I'll share my screen.
Okay, I'll stop. Thank you, Mrs. Zafar.
All right, no problem. Okay, so where are we now? So you see how you're changing the permissions over here as root is affecting the permissions how the user is using, okay? So, normally what happens is if you're changing any permissions, anything, you change it in a lower environment like test, QE, before you change in production environment, okay? Normally that goes to the change and stuff. So there are some safety measures put in before you do any change in the production boxes. So moving along, so sometimes you get an request to remove the permissions or the group for the user here, right? So I'm going to show you. Most of the time you're not going to use it, but this is informational. Remove user from group. So what you could do is you could do it manually also. If you do VI and do ETC group, and if you go down, if you do Shift G, it will take you down on the bottom of the file. And what I want to do is remove terminator from wheel. Where is wheel? Okay, see wheel in here is ZMPT is there and terminator is there. But you know what? No, let me quit this. Let me show you a correct way to
Mrs.
remove.
Zafar,
Uh-huh.
you're not sharing your screen.
I'm not.
It just recorded. Yeah, it's just recording. I can't see it.
Anybody else is having problem? Or let me stop and let me start again.
Okay. Yeah, it's coming back now.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll do ID terminator, right? And I don't like him part of a wheel group. He's getting too much, he's getting a too much of a access. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove him from the group here. GPASSWD hyphen D means hyphen D means delete, and then terminator. Delete terminator, and then where do you want to delete him from? Wheel. Removing user terminator from group wheel. That is what we wanted. And if I do ID terminator, and he's gone from the wheel group. So only few people, only not even an application team has access to a group, wheel group. So if you see somebody other than your teammates have access to wheel group, then there is a big problem. You cannot allow that. Okay, so what happens is you have to go ahead and remove it, or let the manager know or somebody know that it need to be removed. So the first part is a command G password, all lowercase. Hyphen D means delete. What is the user ID and what is the group you want to remove it from? Okay, so that is what happened to him. He got booted off the wheel group. So he don't have the root permissions. As a root, he won't be able to switch to root. I'm sorry, as a regular user, he won't be able to switch to root. Let me save this here. Okay, now if you do clear here and if you try to do sudo su minus and you provide his password. Okay, right now I'm in the session, so it's allowing him to go in there. So if you exit out of there, exit one more time, and then come back in as terminator. And if you do sudo su minus, now he's not able to do. Why? Because we kicked him out of the wheel group. Okay.
Should exit from Terminator itself.
Yeah. Exit out of terminator, and it will actually throw you back to your starting point. Then you have to SSH again.
Similar like Windows work.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on when like connecting from one server to another server. There's like a session is established, right? You have to do a bunch of session and authentication is there. Once you're already in the session, you have connecting from one server to another server is also granting you permissions and stuff, and it's keeping that session alive until you exit out of. Once you exit out of those, then when you connect again, you're connecting with the new permissions.
Exactly. You have
Yeah.
to log out, log back in.
Mm-hmm. So it's with any system here. That's the basic nature of the computing. All right, so now we're gonna pivot to a new concept. Give me just a moment here. So now we're gonna pivot to a new concept. It's called SID. Set Group ID. Okay, so I have a definition for this and then I'll explain you what it is. So what is set group ID? So what is, okay, hold on. So what is happening here is so set group ID is all the files that are created in the directory with set group ID belongs to the group with the directory belongs. Not to the group the user belongs. Special permission set for directories are there. Whenever the user creates a file and a directory inside a directory which is set GID, it will inherit the group ownership of the set group. And the group ownership is not retroactive. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to explain this to you guys. So wherever you are in root, just do CD there and create a file called mkdir/data. Give me one moment here. Yeah, I'll use all uppercase. Okay, so we did if I do ls-ld/data, okay, so these are the permissions I have. So these are the default permissions, right? 7, 5, 5. If you look at the default permissions for a folder, those are 7, 5, 5. 5. You have to look at the 3 spaces. 4 plus 1 is 5. Um, Give me one moment here. I'm missing something here. Okay, anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group. Is this gonna confuse you? Let me see. Cat etc esswd. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a group. Did I show you group add already? Okay. So earlier I showed you something as group add. Okay, but what you could do is you could create a standalone group also. What I'm gonna do is group group add, and then I'm gonna call it human. Okay, this is a standalone group. I have not added it anywhere. So let me clear this. I created that, and then if I do cat etc group, and then grep for humans. So that 9001 is the group that was created. In the group, which file it got created? Anybody? 9001. Okay. All right. So let's take a 20-minute break here, because it's a good time to take a break, and we'll come back at 9:30 Central Time. Okay. So the time starts now. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, if I do ls-ld/data, okay, so the group is root here. All right. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change the group for this directory here. CHGRP. Okay. And then I'm going to give humans or 9001. And then I'm going to say data. Okay. And then if I do ls-ld data, you see humans is the group owner. So in this part, who is the humans? Who are the humans' ownership? Huh?
FID.
Yeah, but in this permissions, which one is the humans permissions?
Alex. Read and execute.
Okay, is this the one? Is this the one? Huh?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the group permission for humans is read and write. And then others means, in this case, whoever is not part of humans or root is going to be others. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give others the read and write permissions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is chmod hyphen not hyphen chmod 757 data. Okay, and if you do ls-ld/data, then you see it here. So let me copy this part here. So far, I'm preparing the stuff to demonstrate the said SGID. Okay, so we're not there yet. So this one is okay, so this is assign humans as group owner. All right, and this is, we don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. So assign humans as group owner, and this is what you see. And here, change permissions to uh, change change read, write, execute permissions to other. And what has changed? This is this thing has changed. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, as a terminator, I'm gonna go into slash data. Okay, if I do ls-l, I don't see anything in here. So right now, which part is terminator? Is this belong to terminator? No. This belongs to humans. So terminator will probably be other, because he's not part of any group there. That means he's other. So let's create a file, touch file1. And then if you do ls-l file1, now now take the look at the uh, look at it here. Who is the owner of the file terminator? And he's also the group owner. Okay, so we're gonna come back here in a minute. You have question asked?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, so now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna change something. So here we're gonna set group ID. So the command to set the group ID is chmod, okay, and then G plus S as in Sam. Okay, so far we have learned only RWX. Okay, this is new. It stands with S, capital S as in Sam. Okay, and then slash data. Okay, and do ls hyphen ld slash data. Okay, now if I draw your attention here, if you look at it here, do you see a difference somewhere? Exactly. You see a little S here.
Permission we have an S.
Yes, that means the group is set as he's set as S here, set group ID. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a look here. Let me take a screenshot here. We need this. Okay, so now S group is there. So now what is gonna happen is if I clear this, if I do ls hyphen L, and we have file one is there, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say touch file two. And then if I do ls hyphen L, now you see here, okay, if I draw your attention, you see even though earlier Terminator was independent group and he was part of others, and he created a file which belongs to as a Terminator group. But now once we set it as a set GID on group, now that file belongs to humans. So this is very important here. Why? Because so for example, if you have a Oracle as an ID, okay, so Oracle, and there are other file that could be writing to the application data folder, right? So we don't want, because if the Oracle application is running, it want the correct permissions for the other Oracle IDs. There may be like a different Oracle IDs, application ID that may be using that folder, right? So that that group also has the permissions here. So this you will get to see mostly in application side. When people are trying to create some application permissions, this is how it will affect the ownership of a file. Okay, so this is bit important. You're not using this every day when you are like in a development phase. You just come up with how you will be using the IDs and stuff, and that's what it's usually about. Every day it won't come up. Sometimes, if somehow it loses uh, the permissions, you have to come back and change it. But most of the time, this happens during the development phase. So I'm going to give you a 2-minute pause here. Any confusion regarding this? I know it took me a little bit to explain what's happening, but this is what it is. So you see the clearly one user is creating, but it belongs to the application ID. Okay. All right, so I'm going to save this. All right, so no questions means we could move along. And I think there is nothing much we have to do it here. So what else you could do is you could switch to, what if you, let's say if you have an ID Spider-Man. Okay, so we have Spider-Man here also, right? So let me clear this. And what you could do is you could switch to here, you could switch to root, and it is the same password. Switching to root is the same password without number 1 in front of it, okay? All lowercase. And then switch to as Spider-Man. Now go into CD data. And if you do ls-l, so ls-ld. So you as a Spider-Man, now you belong as others, right? You're a Spider-Man. Which group you belong to? Other, the last one, read, write, execute. So if you do touch file 3, and if you do ls-l, see, even the Spider-Man is the owner, but the group owner is humans. Okay? So this is just one other way I'm trying to show you is no matter who's creating the file, the group stays the same. Yeah.
Because Spider-Man does not exist in my opinion. No, in the root.
No, do cat
Where?
in your first server.
Right?
Yeah, wherever you are logged in as root. Cat etc passwd and hit enter. P slash cat slash etc slash passwd. You have Spider-Man in there? Check the spelling.
MEN. MEN.
Ah,
You got it. MEN is also.
so do ID Spider-Man.
We are in my.
So wherever you're logged in as Terminator, there do SU minus.
Spider-Man.
No, just do SU hyphen.
Yeah.
You could do Spider-Man too. SU minus Spider-Man and provide the password for Spider-Man. Then you should be able to switch.
Yeah, I'm at the root now over there, so. Now I have to do SU hyphen spa beta MEN. Yep. Where was the very beginning?
Now go into data directory and then create the file. File 3 or whatever.
So yeah, it belongs to user Spider-Man and group human.
Okay, so it's matching what I have, right?
Yes.
All right, good.
Just one spelling mistake.
Well, you got to be careful there. So now you know how to find out somebody's ID. If you think the ID is there but it's not showing up in there, that happens a lot. Just check the password file. Password file is the file that keeps what? No, user ID. And which file keeps the password? Shadow file. Go ahead and do cat etc shadow. You see all the passwords in there. Shadow. Yeah, because you are.
I'm in Spider-Man and data directory.
Okay, do ID Spider-Man. Is Spider-Man part of wheel group?
No.
Okay, no, he won't be able to. You won't be able to see it. So you have to be root then. So one other thing I'm going to show you informational only. So if you see ls-ld/data, okay, you see the read write for the group owner humans. There is only read. There is no write permission, and then S means it's set for set group ID. And when you see a small s, that means it also have an execute permission. But if it has an uppercase S, it doesn't have the execute permission. So how are you gonna do that? Let's do ch mod group minus X. We are taking away group execute permission and then do data. Okay, and then if you do ls-ld/data, now you see the group execute permission where it has a smaller s, it has a bigger a capital S, right? When you have a capital S, that means set GID is still set, but that group doesn't have the execute permission. Okay, this is just informational here. Okay, oops, where am I? Uppercase, uppercase S, SGID is set, then it means that group does not have execute permission. All right, so now let's pivot to another concept. It's called set UID. We learned SGID. Now this is the another concept called set UID. SUID. Okay, and I have a definition here. Let me copy and paste. Okay, so when SUID is set, the command inherits the ownership execute permissions. Set UID is used for files for the execution purpose. It inherits the owners/root executive permissions. Regular user does not have permission but still can update the file when executing the command. Okay, so I have to explain this to you. Okay. So let's look at the command. Let's look at the command here. There is PASSWD. What is this command? What does this command do?
Transfer the permission.
Password.
Password what? It allows you to set the password, change the password and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go up here, okay, so if we are using only password here, password then the name of the user, then we are setting the password. Password is setting the password here, but that command, where is that command? If you do which password, this is what you are actually executing. You are executing a file which is password. It will help you change the password. Okay. Now there is another chapter about RPM and stuff. There you will understand better what this is. Okay. So you type which password, and if you do ls-l and then you do user bin password and you hit enter. Okay, so now if I draw your attention here, it has a S there. You see a little read write execute for S. So I have to explain you what this means is, okay? And by the way, this is a built-in command, right? So why does it have all this already? So okay, we are able to use the password command even though you are not root here, right? Can you change your own password? If you logged in as Spider-Man, if you do password, if you do PASSWD, it's asking you to change the password. And it is a very important command because you are able to change your own password here. But if you look at it here, you have the group and this permission here. But what you would require is even though either you have to be root or you have to be group. Any other group is supposed to be not root here. But in this case, you cannot be anybody else except root to run the command, and you have to be root to be in the root group to run this command here. And then the execute is this command here. But this file is as such, you have to have a root permissions to do it. But as a regular user, you are able to run this because there is a set UID is set there for that file. Okay. But when you set the password, which file gets updated? You're using the password command anyway, right? I understand that. But which file gets updated? Anybody?
The Etsy
etc
file.
etc
ETC what? ETC?
etc is the basic file where they save the password and everything, right?
No. We just discussed a few minutes ago.
Shadow file.
Shadow file, exactly. Let's look at the shadow file. ls-l etc shadow. Look at the permissions for shadow file. Nobody has
Any access whatsoever.
But root, I mentioned one time here, root still has access. So because he's the owner and the group. But when you are changing your own password, you are editing the shadow file. How is that happening? Because the password command has UID, SUID set. If I take away this, if I take away that, you won't be able to use that thing there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you see how this is getting interesting?
Huh?
One thing is dependent on another
No, I'm
thing.
in class. Mm.
Excuse me, sir. There is a question. Even we can restrict the root user too.
Here, you see the permission here as root, right? Nobody has permission, even the root.
Yeah, I know, but even root, it's like
No,
they got a main authority on the root, right? Can we restrict that or no?
no,
By default. Okay.
no. Even without this, there is no permissions. The permissions are stripped to this file, but root still has permissions. So
Got it.
you have full permissions, even though permissions are there shown here 0, you still have full permissions as a root. Okay, so okay, so if I put this here, so let's see here. If you look at the timestamp here, it was changed January 18th, 2019 here, right? So let's do Spider-Man. I'm gonna go ahead and change the password. I'm logged in as Spider-Man, and if you do the password, and then I'm providing the current password, and then I'm gonna change the password. Okay, so here, okay, root, when you set a password as root, there is no password enforcement, okay? Root, even though there is system-wide enforcement how the password is used, for root, it's not. But when you're trying to change the password as a regular user, it will enforce the password restriction. So go ahead and try to change and make it like complex password.
But it says that you need to have at least 8 characters. So I have to go bigger than that, right?
Yeah. So now, what else you see is you see the timestamp here. And now, if you look at the timestamp, so timestamp got updated. Why? Because we changed the password for Spider-Man here. All the password, no matter what, whose password is sitting in the shadow directory here, shadow file. So what I'm trying to point out is even though that file doesn't have any permission for anybody else, but there is a set UID is set for the password file, which is an execute file. I'm sorry, password command, which is a execute command it has, it's inheriting or it's giving that permission to a regular user. Okay, so that is the main important use case here. I don't see, you could, if you want to make a very hardened system, you could do that, enforcing a lot of stuff. Okay, but make sure you don't lock out yourself playing around with this. If that happens a lot, once it logs them out, then
Administrator has to intervene.
yeah, the administrator has to come in and you have to go into the single user mode. That will come later in the class here. Single user mode, you have to go outside the operating system to reset the password. Okay, so let me see.
Sir, got a question.
Mhm.
I changed the password through the Spider-Man, right? So it was giving me the restrictions that I have to be, it should be 8 characters. And so what happened? I changed it, right? I log in on the second session. I log in as a root, and I changed the password again back to the one which we already have, right?
Mhm.
But it says that what was the message I was getting? The password is shorter than 8 characters, but still it let me change it. It's like all authentication tokens updated successfully. So
Yep.
so there is no restriction of 8 characters on root, right?
Yes, that's what I mentioned a bit earlier.
Okay. All right.
And then good thing you went there and verified it. Now you know, even though system wide is enforcing that the restriction, password restrictions, how the password could be created, but for root it doesn't matter. In
Okay.
fact, I don't think you really need to put that many characters. Try to put like even less characters and see what happens. I'm gonna go password. Yeah, I even set it as like a pathetic cheapest password, and it took it. Well, it said like a 3 character password, it took it.
So it means root is a is a king of the jungle. He can do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, he is above the law. And then there is one more file that is using it. When you do sudo, right? So where is that file sudo? You could do which sudo, and then you could do ls-l, and this one is also has a set UID on it. There are a few other ones that has set UID on it. So I mean, now you know how this thing is working, right? Do I need to show you anything else? If I remove set UID on this here, then the way you move switch to sudo su minus, you won't be able to do that. But I don't think that's necessary to show that here. Okay, how much time we have? Oh, we have a lot of time. Okay, now there is another third concept called sticky bit. Okay, sticky bit. So far we learned SGID, SUID, and this is called sticky bit. So what a sticky bit is, it has a delete protection. So a classic example is a temporary folder. Okay, so classic example is, if you clear this, if you do ls-ld/tmp, right? What do you see different here? What you see different here is a little t. Yeah, you see different here is little t. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is let me just paste this here. But look at the permissions here. Permissions, everybody has everything. It's like a royal rumble. Everybody is fighting everybody. Right? So if you have permission to everybody is doing everything. So let's do that here. Let's make a directory mkdir/data1. Okay. And if I do ls-ld/data1, you have the standard permissions here. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say chmod 777/data1. And if I do ls-ld/data1, you have full permissions here. So let's have a little fun here. So go into data1 as a Spider-Man. cd/data1 pwd, and over here touch a file, touch file 1. Okay, now switch to terminator, su minus terminator. Before that, let me get output. So file 1 is owned by Spider-Man. and then other group is only read permissions, right?
Others have read permission, yes.
Okay, and so SU minus terminator and password for terminator. Let me go into cd/data1, and if I do ls-l here, okay, let me try removing this file. Okay, as a terminator, rm-rf file1, but it did. Why is it able to do that? Because look at the folder permission here.
RW.
The folder permission for everybody is everything. All right. So the folder permission here, full. That means Spider-Man, he came in and he deleted the file, or the Terminator, he came and deleted the file for Spider-Man. That is not acceptable, okay? So what happened here is uh, so here Terminator is able to delete file created by Spider-Man. Okay. So to prevent that, we don't want this happening here. This is not good. Okay, this is not good. Okay, so to prevent this, set sticky bit. So over here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the sticky bit here. How I'm gonna do? Let's take a look. chmod o others plus t as in tango / data1. And if you do ls-ld / data1, now you see a little T on there. Sticky bit is on. So let's create, let's exit here, still as Spider-Man. Let's create a touch file2 and hit enter. If you do ls-l, you see Spider-Man file is there here. So let's switch to as a Terminator again. And let's go to cd/data1. And then I see if it's going to delete it, rm-rf file2. Okay, it says cannot remove it, operation not permitted. So usually what happens is the temporary folder has sticky bit set. Did you exit out?
Yeah,
Did you clear the file as a Spider-Man?
I created a file as Spider-Man.
Okay. Share your screen. Okay.
In that file.
No, you created but you were able to delete the file too? Okay, exit one more time. Maybe okay, do before that do W and hit enter because you are logged in as twice, I think, Terminator. No? Okay, good. Exit now. Do ls-ld, then a period. Yeah, data one. Yeah. Okay, so this looks good here, right? So do ls-l here. Okay, so file 2 is there. You created originally as file 2. Oh, no. If you go up in Terminator, you are not in there. You deleted the file that doesn't exist in the Terminator directory, home directory. Okay, now switch to Terminator now. So remember, PWD is your friend. Always remember. Now do PWD. So you're not in the right place. So cd2/data.
Data one.
Data one, yeah. Now do ls-l. Okay, now try to remove this. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So you were in home Terminator and there was no file to delete. So it didn't give you the output error.
Didn't give me any.
Yeah. It tricked you. Those are some of the things there. It should, in my opinion, when that happens, it should give you some kind of output that says file doesn't exist to begin with or something. Okay, so now we understood what a sticky bit means, and usually it's set for the temporary folder here. All right, so
We're not sharing.
yeah, I'm gonna share. All right. All right, so we learn sticky bit, we learn SUID, set UID, set the GID, and usually it's SUID is set. It's called set UID, UD. And then set SID means set SID and sticky bit. Now we're gonna learn about FACL. FACL. Okay, what does this stands for? File access control list. Okay. All right, so let me get the definition for FACL. Okay, so this is the definition for FACL here. Okay, I got it from internet. So it says FACL in Red Hat Enterprise is an advanced file permission system that allows you to define more granular access permission than traditional owner group and other model of Unix-like system. It provides the flexibility to assign permission to individual user group on a per file or per directory basis. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, what it means is, you could give a permission to the user or a group, even though that user or a group doesn't have any permission to that file or a folder. So let's take a look what it means. Okay, so as a root, let's create as a root, make a directory mkdir/bank, BANK. So banks are highly restricted, right? So let's take a look how it works. And if I do ls-ld/bank, it has a regular permissions here, right? Now there is one more new permissions thing you're gonna learn is get FACL, FACL/bank. Okay, now this is the expanded information regarding bank. So what it is showing you information regarding a bank. It says owner. Who is the owner? Owner is the root, which we already know. Owner is the root. And group is also the root, so which we already know. Group is already the root. And what are the user's permission? User, which is owner, is he got full permissions, which is already shown here. Group, read, write, read and execute, and read and execute for group and other. Okay, there is nothing new we could see without even running the FACL command here, right? So what is new here? Okay, let's find out what is new.
Sir, what is the meaning of user? It's like we are using by the root, so it was showing RWX.
I think I told you user and owners are the same thing. User means, if we go back up here, uh, yeah. So user or owner is whoever is creating the file. Whichever ID is creating the file becomes automatically the owner of that file. Group is whoever that group you belongs to or any other group that has permissions to it, and others is whoever doesn't belong to a group or the ownership of that file.
Okay.
Yeah, so make sure you now it's getting complicated here, so make sure you don't lose the focus of your understanding how things were working. They were simpler things that started off, now it's getting complex.
Yep.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear here. As a terminator, I'm gonna go into CD bank. There is nothing in there, and what I'll do is I'll do touch file one, and simply it says the permission is denied. Why is permission denied? Why is permission denied for the user terminator? Because right now, as we speak, who is the what group the terminator belongs to in this scenario for bank, related to bank? Exactly, other. And what kind of permission other has?
No, like read and execute.
Read and execute. So touching a file is what? A write activity. So he doesn't have a writing permissions. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to give only the exclusive permissions only to terminator without giving the permissions to any other group. So if you do a regular chmod, permission to anybody in any other group, we in this case we just want to give it to only terminator. Yeah, so we're gonna specify it here. So what we're gonna do is set fackle. It's a new command. -m as in Mary. Okay, and then you. And who is the user? We're gonna give terminator. And then what kind of permissions you want to give it to terminator? Read, write, execute. It's a bit different how the permissions are being set. Bank.
Specific to for a user is specific to a folder.
Yeah. So what does this mean? Set -m means modify. And for who? User, terminator, and what kind of permissions? Read, write, execute on where? Bank.
If I don't specify the folder,
Then either you have to specify a folder or a file.
that's
Yes. So let me break this down.
yeah.
So here we have good 20 minutes. Okay, this is command. Okay, so what is command? Set facle and hyphen M means modify. Okay, and then U means user. And which user? Terminator. Okay, UID. Or you could give the name number 2. Okay, and the permissions. Read, write, execute permissions. And the directory, file or directory. All right, so let me just squeeze this up a little bit. Okay, remember wherever you see uppercase, it's always a lowercase, okay? The commands and stuff, most of the time.
Sir, it's set faculty.
Okay, now if you do a regular ls-ld/bank, okay, so you have a little plus there now. Okay, and then if you do get facle, okay, so now it is gonna act like a user here. So you have a user permissions for the other, and then the mask. You see the mask? This is not a U mask. This is a mask. That means it is masking for read, write, and execute permissions. So now this is getting a bit complex. So here I'm gonna highlight user terminator and I should copy this also. Okay, no, I already copied that. Here, and you see a little extra. Remember which position this T is taking at the plus sign. Plus sign is taking the position of there used to be a period there, but now it's plus there. So now it has changed a bit. So this is an indication that there is an extra permission set for bank. Okay, so now run the command touch file 1. We didn't get the error. You got the error? Oh, okay, good. Now you see owners and why? Because he has an extra permission on top of this thing here.
Give a specific special permission.
Yes. Now try switching to Spider-Man and see if you could do it. I mean, I know for sure it won't do it, but you could try it later. Now Terminator is able to all right.
Mrs. Zafar,
Yeah.
can anyone run git fackle
Oh no,
in
root,
any directory to
root,
see who has what permissions?
root. Oh, as a regular user, yeah.
Yeah, as a regular user, yeah.
Yeah, so Terminator get Fackle and then do bank. See,
Mm.
they
Hmm.
are able to see the stuff.
So if we switched over to Spider-Man, he would be able to do it too?
Yep,
Okay.
definitely. So let's go ahead and do that. That's a good question. SU minus Spider-Man. All right, get Fackle slash bank. And yeah, he's able to see
Hmm.
what is the permissions is having.
Okay. And if you wanted to add like an absolute path to that from anywhere in the directory, you can do that from anywhere, your fackle.
100%.
Mm. Okay.
Right now, I'm in like Spider-Man directory, and then I use the absolute path. Slash bank is the
Mm.
absolute path.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so for so let's see here. So this is directory. So let's see here. Let me clear this. And what I'm going to do is what should I do? CD slash bank. And what I'm gonna do is let's do touch. I'm gonna create a file named touch. Touch secret, okay? And what I'm gonna do is set facle -m, then colon Spider-Man, colon read write execute, and I'm gonna say secret. What? Oh, so
Don't you have to add you? Yeah.
yeah.
And Spider-Man is MEN.
What happened?
Spider-Man is MEN or MEN?
Oh, for me, MAN is whatever you kept on your system. You have to check that. I think you guys are using MEN. Let's put some secret in here. I'm gonna say so. I'm gonna say terminate terminator. Okay. So he's been a pain in the ass. So let's get rid of him. So now Spider-Man is gonna come in to this here /bank. And he has ls-l. Okay, now if you see get facle, I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna say get facle secret. So these are the user permissions is for the Spider-Man here. Okay, so you know already this is permissions. Add some content. Okay, so now Spider-Man is logged in and see if he is able to go in there. VI secret and then say mission. Okay. So now you see, even though the get facle bank, even though Spider-Man is not even the user for this bank here. Okay, there is no way he has a read write execute permission, but he has a direct specific permission to that file. So this is facle for file. Again, the use case for this is like in an application scenario, you know, how sometimes there's application need access to that place here, but still wouldn't have access, the real access. So now what I have is I have a cheat sheet here for the permissions. What time is it? Oh, we are run out of time. So I'm putting a cheat sheet for the permissions and stuff. Okay, go ahead and use this and keep this as a cheat sheet. You will need it. Okay, so I have everything broken down here. The identity is user group, other, all, read, write, execute permission. Plus means add, minus means remove, equal means make it only permission. So I showed you the ones which are commonly used, and these are commonly used cheat sheet. So if you master all these here, you should be good. Okay, so I think the time is up. As soon as I'm done here, I will upload this. If you guys have any questions, use the chat. Okay, please start using the chat and practice as much as you can. I would say 30 minutes a day is the key here. Just get up early, do the 30 minutes a day, and then get it out of the way, and you'll be on your way.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I'm going to end here. It was a good session, and I think it was a lot to process. But for
Yeah.
today, get away and have a good fresh air. Tomorrow, come back, watch the video, and log in and practice. All
Okay.
right. Thanks for joining. Anything else? If you have, we'll use the group chat.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Zafar.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right.